Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the Bus, Mark Johnson here. Coming up on the final Buffalo Stampede of 2023-24, we're talking a lot of basketball. What a run through the NCAA tournament for the CU men. They beat Boise in Dayton and then come here to Indianapolis, knock off Florida in dramatic fashion before losing a tough game to Marquette in the second round. Also, we're talking to CU women as they continue to roll in the big dance all this week in the Buffalo Stampede.
Down the stretch, when we had to, we got rebounds. And I thought, KJ's 11 rebounds obviously stands out. But our guys battled when we had to. We went down 4, called a timeout. KJ was really positive, which I thought was great because you need that positivity in the NCAA tournament when you go down 4 late. And then we got 5 straight stops in a row. Our defense just kind of cranked up a notch.
There's head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes get their first NCAA tournament win since 2021, knocking off Boise State in the first 4 in Dayton, Ohio. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buffalo Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, my partner, Buffs great Scott Wilkie. Nice win for Colorado in Dayton, Ohio. Very tough game, physical contest. It was kind of a backyard brawl, wasn't it?
Yeah, very physical game. Not a great shooting night for everybody except Tristan Da Silva, but they found a way to win, and that's one thing that they've learned how to do lately is win those kinds of games.
Buffaloes have now won 9 of 10 games where they wrapped up the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, won 2 out of 3 in the Pac-12 tournament. Now the first one here in the dance. Not often do you win a ball game getting out-rebounded by 10, giving up 19 offensive rebounds. You don't want to do that too often, but somehow the Buffs found a way to work around that.
They made just enough plays, especially down the stretch. A couple big threes by Tristan Da Silva late in that game, and you're right. You don't win very often when you get out-rebounded like that, but they found a way.
Yeah, Tristan had 3 3-pointers in the second half. KJ Simpson did not have a great start to the ball game, but in typical KJ fashion, he made plays down the stretch as well. So they really relied on those big 2 in that ball game.
Yeah, KJ, even though he had a rough shooting night, he still got it at 18 points, had 11 rebounds, career high.
Yeah.
So he's figuring out other ways to make winning plays when he's not shooting that great.
Scott, that says something about the maturity of this team. Even when they don't play their best basketball, I think it's safe to say against Boise, they didn't play well.
No,
but they played hard, right? They played hard, and they figure ways out to win.
Yeah, I think there was a defensive win last night. The defense was tremendous. They really shut down their 2 leading scorers for Boise State, Degenbach and Stanley.
Yeah.
Both held them to about a third of their average, which is really tremendous.
Yeah, Tristan Da Silva has become not a good, but a great defender. And the job he did on their leading scorer last night held him to 6 points. In fact, he only had a couple of late buckets. Otherwise, it was a 2-point night. His defense is really, I think, all conference level.
Yeah, he was averaging 17, but Mark over the last month, almost 20 a game. And so Tristan told us after the game that he took a personal goal to shut him down, and he did.
And he certainly did. And after the victory in Dayton, we heard from KJ Simpson and Tristan Da Silva at the press conference.
I think just the biggest thing is basketball is more than offense. Obviously, it wasn't my best night shooting the ball, and I had a lot of kind of bad shots tonight. So that was kind of frustrating, but understanding that my team, needed me out there to do other things. That's why, we needed rebounds. So I wanted to, go out there and be a leader and go get rebounds and do whatever the team needed for me to do. And, I knew eventually something was going to fall for me. And down that stretch, needed to make a big play, and I was ready to step up to it. It's just all about having short-term memory. You kind of build that with experience. And, sometimes the ball's not going to go in the basket, but there's so much more to basketball than just offense.
I mean, there's been a couple like this, close games. I remember the Oregon game. I remember the USC game. So there's been a couple close games that we've been in over the stretch. Kind of trusting our defense has helped us a lot. Defense and rebounding is what Coach kind of stresses the most. And down the stretch, this game, I feel like we got the stops, we got the rebounds that we needed. So I'm, super proud of our guys, the job that they've done on defense.
So there's Tristan DeSilva and KJ Simpson postgame press conference in Dayton, Ohio in the first four as the Buffs get the victory, improving, by the way, to 25-10. We continue with Scott Wilkie. By the way, 25 wins. That's a new Colorado record in the history of Colorado basketball. 121 years. No one's ever won more games than this team in 2023-24.
I have a lot of respect for that, Mark. It's tremendous. I played for CU, so I feel like that's tremendous. And I really think those guys will look back at this when they're old men like us and really be proud of that, something they can hang their hat on.
Scott, overall, the way this team plays, KJ, Tristan, Cody still kicking some rust off, Javon Hadley, the way he's playing. I thought Eddie Lampkin was very good last night. This team has got all the attributes of a team that can make a run to the Sweet 16, don't you think?
Yeah, if you play defense like Colorado does, except for last night, rebound for the most part, and just hit enough shots, you never know what can happen. Last night, we didn't have a great game offensively, but Tristan DeSilva, KJ made just enough plays and got that lead late in the game. And then free throw shooting, Mark, it's nice to be a good free throw shooting team.
Buffalo's the top free throw shooting team of the Pac-12. Last night, they only missed one, over 90%. You got to be able to do that. You have to have great backcourt play. You got to be able to rebound, and you got to be able to hit foul shots. The Buffaloes have a great challenge coming up with Florida now. Hey, one thing that's kind of fun, boy, the Buff turnout here, and now that we're in Indianapolis, by the way, but in Dayton and here in Indy has been phenomenal, hasn't it?
Yeah, it started down in Vegas. Biggest turnout I've seen in 12 years I've been involved. And then now coming out here to Dayton, we had 3 buses come from Dayton to Indianapolis today. And it's really fun to have a crew behind the team like we have up here.
Yeah, the turnout has been unbelievable for the Buffaloes. One more basketball note to make, I think, and that's the way that Eddie has been playing as of late. Eddie Lampkin did have a quality ball game last night. His size, his strength, his ability to kind of duck in, get seals, the way he passes out of the post, he's become a major cog in this team.
Yeah, and you need guys like that to draw fouls, to get their big guys in foul trouble, to hold your own against the rebounding of offensive rebounding teams like Florida. Have that size is really vital.
So the Buffaloes have got a great challenge as they move into the first round after that first 4 win in Dayton, Ohio over Boise. They'll take on out of the SEC the Florida Gators, the number 7 seed. We'll talk about that coming up next here in the Buffalo Stampede.
We talk about believing in each other all the time. And you guys believe in each other. You made just enough plays down the stretch. I thought at halftime and midway through the second half, we got to score 100 to win this game. Damn if we didn't score 102. Okay. And the other night, it was a rock fight defensive battle. You guys know how to win in different ways. I'm really, really proud of you. Really proud of you. We played great poise down the stretch. Great execution. Okay, that was great execution on sideline winner. We practiced it. We hadn't had to run it maybe once all year. And get a hell of a shot.
That is going to go down as one of the greatest wins in Colorado, not just basketball, but athletics history. Colorado winning in the first round of the NCAA tournament, 102-100, and there's the celebration in the locker room as the Buffs pick up their 26th victory of the season and move on to the second round of the NCAA tournament here in Indianapolis. Hi, everybody. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, Scott Wilkie. Well, that one's going to go down. We were talking, walking back to the hotel. That's the best game I think you've ever been a part of during the broadcast in the last, decade or so.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun to be a broadcaster in a game like that. And, Oregon a couple weeks ago was a lot of fun. This one definitely topped that one.
Yeah, with what was on the line, the Buffaloes moving on to the second round. The thought going into this ball game is that Colorado couldn't score with Florida. The Buffs answered the call there. They become the first team, by the way, since Xavier in 2018 to score 100 points. They were followed up, by the way, by Florida doing the same thing. But the Buffs proved they can run with anybody.
Answered that in a big way, Mark.
Yeah.
It slowed down at the end. They had 94 points with about 4 minutes left in the game.
That's right.
So they could have scored more. I got a little sinking feeling when that lead slipped away, but KJ saved the day.
KJ Simpson has had an amazing season for the Buffaloes. Over 700 points in a single season. The third Buff to ever do that. Cliff Mealy, Alec Burks, now KJ Simpson. He saved his best for last. Tied at 100, 6.1 seconds remaining, and he hits a shot from the short corner on the right side. It bobbled, it dropped. Legendary.
Yeah, and it was after a timeout. They called the play. I thought maybe it was a broken play that he ended up on the baseline, but Rick Ray told us that was what they wanted. They wanted him in a kind of an isolation situation, and KJ always feels confident. We know how he feels like the next one's going in.
Scott, that's not an easy shot right there. And the defender was draped all over him.
Yeah, baseline shots are tougher than when you're out front. You just don't see the basket as well, but it clanked around and fell in and used a few more seconds there before the shot clock died.
It did, and then the ball was played in a 75-foot heave, and the way that guard for Florida was playing, you thought that might go in.
Clayton had scored 27 in the second half, and I was worried. Even though it was a three-quarter court shot, he had just hit one from almost half court.
The Buffaloes get the win 102-100 in the opening round of the NCAA tournament, and afterward, we heard from Tad Boyle and a number of his players.
Can't ask for much more out of a game in March than the one you just saw. I mean, these guys, the way they battled, I thought both teams battled. I mean, hats off to Florida. They played well. And but, man, to show the poise and composure that we did down the stretch when they made the run back at us, it was a tough game. And I thought to myself at halftime, if we don't start guarding better, midway through the second half, if we don't start guarding better, we got to score 100 to win tonight. We needed 102. Actually, only needed 101, but we got 102. So just enough at the end. Great execution, great play by KJ. Every one of our players that played made plays. Bench was great. Just a hell of a game in March. What else can you say?
I mean, we always, go through preparation, time and score situations like that in practice, and it was just another one of those times where we had to execute. Obviously, it was a play that was set up. There was multiple actions out of it. Happened to break free and was looking to just drive, create something, whatever was the best play, and noticed the defender got a little bit off balance, and that's a shot I shoot a bunch of times, and credit to my teammates, and Cody threw me a great pass that was able to guide me and lead me in that direction, and just stepping up and hitting the shot.
There's head coach Tad Boyle and the Buffaloes players after their first-round NCAA tournament win here in Indianapolis, 102-100. The defense wasn't something you're going to write home to the mom and dad about, but it was good at times, and they did enough to get this victory.
Yeah, when you give up 100 points, it's not like one of your best defensive performances, but they made enough plays. It was just like Wednesday night. It was a different type of game, but they made just enough plays to get the win.
So many guys in this game you can talk about. Tristan Da Silva was very good. Luke O'Brien was very good. Javon Hadley. I thought KJ, obviously. Eddie Lampkin, I thought, was instrumental in this game. As big as Eddie is, Florida didn't have anybody that seemed to want to deal with him down there. He had a huge game, over 20 points, had 4 or 5 assists in this ball game, a huge factor early on.
Yeah, and it was obvious to us early courtside that the defenders for Florida did not like the way he plays. He puts his body on you, he bangs you, he ducks in with his butt. They did not want to have a piece of that, and he had his way early in the game.
It's been a while since we saw this kind of explosion for Colorado. They shoot over 60% for the game, over 60% from downtown, and over 90% from the free throw line. Offensively, this was a masterpiece.
Yeah, and we keep talking about how free throw shooting, which has been a strength of Colorado all season, is something that can help you win close games. The last 2 games, it's played a huge factor in both of those wins.
Yeah, the Buffaloes right now impressive. 26 wins, Scott. They extend their school record for victories. You think about that. You played for Colorado. 26 wins in one single season.
I have a ton of respect for that, and a school record twice in a row now, setting new records, and have a chance to set a 3rd one on Sunday. So I think when you set school records for 121 years, you're saying a lot.
Yeah, they got 26 wins and 10 losses. Now move on to the round of 32, hoping to make their first Sweet 16 ever. They're going to meet up with the Golden Eagles of Marquette in the round of 32 here in Indianapolis. For Scott Wilkie, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We'll talk about that matchup with the Eagles when we continue here at the Buffalo Stampede.
Colorado made a heck of a run. That's about as good of a 10 seed as I've ever seen in my life. We started watching tape a couple days ago, and we said, who made these guys a 10 seed? Man, they're a talented team, and they got going in the second half.
There's some complimentary comments from Marquette head coach Shaka Smart after the Golden Eagles knocked the Buffaloes out of the NCAA tournament here in Indianapolis by a final score of 81-77. Hi, everybody. Back in the Stampede. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, Scott Wilkie. Well, that was a heck of a college basketball game. Buffs went down by 12 in the first half, -11 at halftime, came back, took the lead, And with, just a minute or so left in the ballgame, we're tied at 74.
Yeah, we had our chances late in that ball game. Colorado was good, but Marquette was a little bit better than we were.
Yeah. A good offensive game. The defense, not so much in this one.
Well, Marquette shot 62%, and I thought early in the game we didn't play good defense. It got better, but Marquette made the right plays. Usually when we played good defense, they found that open man, and they knocked down the shots they got.
Here's the thing about being in the tournament, and obviously when the season comes to an end, everyone's disappointed and fans get frustrated. Everybody's good when you get to this time of year, and Marquette's a legitimate Final Four caliber team, and Colorado went toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah, they've been a top 10 team all year for a reason. They got a number 2 seed for a reason. They're very good offensively. Their point guard is one of the best we've seen all year, and they played well today. Colorado just couldn't quite get over the hump.
I thought Tyler Kolek, who he's talking about, the point guard, was maybe a difference in the ballgame. His creativity, ability to go left when they're trying to force him right, get to the hoop, finding the open man.
Yeah, that was the strategy, was make him go right, but he would go back and forth in front of our defenders multiple times, get to that left hand, and he was so clever finishing over length around the left side of the rim off the backboard with English.
So the Golden Eagles move on to the Sweet 16. They're going to take on North Carolina State next Friday in Dallas, Texas. For the Buffaloes, the season comes to an end after the loss here in Indy. We heard from head coach Tad Boyle and some of the players.
When a team shoots 61%, against you for the game, almost 62%, and you still got a chance at the end, it means you're doing something right. And for this team, what that means to me is, like, they've been competing their tails off the whole year. But I love this team. I love these guys. I love those guys in that locker room, and they got nothing to hang their heads about. They competed their tails off.
We kind of had a sense or had a feeling that, it was in our hands to kind of turn this game around. And, we had all the confidence to come out in the second half and battle the way we did.
We just all had the mentality of not giving up. We've done that throughout the whole year. We've shown that throughout the whole year, and that was just the mindset that we can go out there and we can, still come back and, never give up and never give up on that effort. And we did that. We just came up short.
Head coach Tad Boyle and some of the players after the Buffalo season comes to an end here in Indianapolis, second round of the South region of the NCAA tournament, 81-77. We continue with Scott Wilkie here. All right, 26 wins. CU record, 26-11 the final record when it was all said and done. Finish in the top 3 of the Pac-12. Get to the final championship game. What do you do, or what do you say about a postscript on this season?
Well, I'm proud of how the guys finished the year, Mark. In early to mid-February, things weren't looking as good as they could have been, and they went on a run. And they started with 3 wins at home. They kept it going in Oregon. I'm really proud of how they came on, especially Tristan da Silva. He really finished out his career in a great way.
Buffaloes end the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, lose to Oregon in the title game, win 2 in the dance. They win 10 of their last 12 games. And, force kind of the issue here. As Tad liked to say, we were in an elimination situation for really the last month and a half of the season. KJ Simpson, I think, just put together one of the great seasons, not just in my recent memory, but maybe in the history of Colorado basketball.
Yeah, he's finished 3rd most scoring of any season in Colorado history. And it's not just that, Mark. The rebounds, the assists, the fight, and the tenacity that he showed throughout the year on both ends of the floor. And he had to face some of the best guards in the country over the last 3 weeks, almost every game, high-level guard play, and he more than held his own every game.
And by the way, he was very good in this ball game. In the second half, I thought he was outstanding. Ends up with 20 points for the contest. But when it's all said and done, when we think of KJ Simpson, you think of a couple of things. You're going to think of just nonstop tenacity, but also the shot versus Florida. That's going to go down as one of the great moments in CU athletics history.
Yeah, if anybody missed, we were tied, and we had the last possession. They drew it up, and he was on the baseline, one-on-one situation, rattled and fell in, and like you said, it'll be something that's remembered for a long time.
And now it's go to work on the roster for Tad Boyle and company in this day of transfer portals and NIL. Who knows what's going to happen? We know that Luke O'Brien and Tristan da Silva went through their senior day festivities, so we presume they're done. Outside of that, we'll have to kind of wait and see. But the Buffaloes fall in the second round of the NCAA tournament by a final score of 81-77 to Marquette here in Indianapolis. Coming up next in the Stampede, we're talking dancing with the CU women's basketball team.
We're really proud of how we played tonight. I thought we had a great sort of week and a half of practice and preparation. Drake is such a good and such a different team. I was very nervous about this game. Not that I didn't think we were capable, it's just such a different style. We have not played a team like Drake all year. So I'm really proud of how our team prepared. It's hard to prepare for a team you've never seen before. And so I thought that was great, executing the game plan really, really well. Like when I look at a couple things we talked about, really trying to be aggressive inside, really trying to do a great job on the glass because they're such a good rebounding team. We did a really good job, in those two areas, and those were huge priorities for us. So great team effort. These two were exceptional, and just overall great team win today.
Well, there is J.R. Payne, the victorious head coach after the Colorado Buffaloes' opening round victory of the NCAA tournament in women's basketball. Back in the Stampede, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Buffs get a nice win in the opening round. They're in hostile territory in Big 12 country, where they're going to be, of course, next year in Manhattan, Kansas. Buffaloes get the victory over Drake, 86-72. Aaronot Vonleh with 18 points and 10 rebounds. Also, Jalen Sherrod had a nice game, 16 points and 8 rebounds as well. As the Buffs get the victory, then moving on to the second round of the big dance as the number 5 seed. Now again, hostile territory. Bramlage Coliseum on the Cats' home court. They take on the homestanding Kansas State Wildcats and pull out another victory. 63-50 the final. Buffs have a big third quarter. That's where they kind of break things open and pull away from the Cats. Leading the Buffaloes, Maddie Nolan with 11 points. Also, Quay Miller had 10 points and 10 rebounds as the Buffs win through the first two rounds of the big dance. And afterward, we heard from the victorious head coach once again.
Yeah, wow. Just so proud of our team for how we played today. The environment was incredible. Shout out to Manhattan, Kansas. The entire community has welcomed us this week. And that's great. That's a great basketball environment. But we love that environment. Like, we love being the underdog. We love, we kind of thrive in that role. So I know that we are, as a group, we're very, very comfortable going into such a tough environment. Congratulations to K-State on such a great season. I know a couple of their seniors very well, and just really proud of them for their careers. But yeah, just really, really proud of our team. When I look at the box score, any coach in the world would love to see a box score like this, where you have 9 points, 10 points, 9 points, 9 points, 11 points, 10 points. Like, the balance on our team is just unreal. And I think that's really, really hard to guard. We executed some things down the stretch that were really great. Defensively, I thought our pressure was great. We were down pretty big on the boards at halftime, ended up out-rebounding them, which is just grit and toughness. So yeah, just really, really excited to be moving on.
There's J.R. Payne after her Buffaloes take care of Kansas State in Manhattan, second round of the NCAA tournament. So for the second year in a row, the Buffaloes move on to the Sweet 16. Got another tough game. They match up once again, as they did a year ago, with the number 1 seed this time, the Iowa Hawkeyes, and their outstanding player, Caitlin Clark. That game will take place Saturday at 1:30 in Albany, New York, for the chance to move on to the Elite Eight. Also, don't forget, we've got spring ball going with Coach Prime and the football team. It all wraps up on April 27th with the spring game. We'll have the broadcast on the Colorado Football Network. And we should tell you, this wraps up our year's worth of Buffalo Stampede television show. Glad you could join us all season long. Hope you enjoyed it. Wrapping it up, I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. We'll talk to you next time.